Trans ideology claims dominion over nature itself. We can change the identity we were born with, they will tell you with wild-eyed certainty. Christians can never agree with this statement because these are powers they believe God alone possesses. That unwillingness to agree, that failure to acknowledge a trans person's dominion over nature incites and enrages some in the trans community. People who believe they're God can't stand to be reminded that they're not. So Christianity and transgender orthodoxy are wholly incompatible theologies. They can never be reconciled. They are on a collision course with each other. One side is likely to draw blood before the other side. The trans movement is targeting Christians, including with violence. Most Christian leaders in this country don't want to admit that. Admitting it might force them to take deeply unfashionable positions.
Yep, that's right. That's Fox News's face, Tucker Carlson, who is weaponizing anti-trans rhetoric in the wake of the mass shooting on Monday, which was committed by a trans man. And the thing here is, as we heard in that monologue last night, he basically expressly said that trans people are the natural enemy of Christianity. Absolutely, utterly disgusting, demoralizing, and essentially is inciting a crusade that will enhance chances of danger for the trans community, which is something that they already face. And the thing is that Tucker Carlson was not alone in this brigade. Marjorie Taylor Greene was among the first to take to social media in the wake of learning that the shooter was trans. Here you see this tweet: how much hormones like testosterone and medications for mental illness was the transgender Nashville school shooter taking? Everyone can stop blaming guns now. Don Jr. said this: given the incredible rise of trans non-binary mass shooters in the last few years, by far the largest group committing as a percentage of the population, maybe rather than talking about guns, we should be talking about lunatics pushing their gender affirming on our kids. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance: we're still learning about the horrific shooting in Nashville, but if early reports are accurate that a trans shooter targeted a Christian school, there needs to be a lot of soul searching on the extremist left, giving in to these ideas into compassion. It's dangerous. And TPUSA founder Charlie Kirk: instead of banning assault rifles, we should ban gender affirming care for kids. This is fear mongering at its worst, and it is targeting the trans community. It's also inciting violence against them. This community is already incredibly small, less than 2% of the US population, 1.6%, if I recall correctly from a Pew Research study. And according to UCLA's School of Law, well, we can see here, transgender people are over 4 times more likely than cis people to experience violent victimization. That includes sexual assault, sexual violence, aggravated or simple assault, and even property crimes. The trans community is under attack in this country. And regardless of what went down on Monday, the reality is that it's guns that are the problem. The right is simply looking to advance their agenda and their war on the trans community by making it seem like these individuals who are part of a vulnerable small group are in some way a threat to our society. And thus he is inciting violence against them by creating this rhetoric. It's absolutely disgusting. Jessica.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting is right. They got mad at us, the Tucker Carlsons and the like, people who are conservative commentators who always jump on us and say, oh my gosh, there's been a mass shootings. I know it's gonna come. They're gonna start talking about gun bans. We always point out when there's a manifesto that is explicitly Nazi ideologies, it's explicitly white supremacist, it's very clear from these folks' online footprints what they believe in. And the vast majority of mass shooters being white men, and they get mad at us and they say, well, you're really stereotyping here. You can't say it's all white men. You can't demonize white men. But one person who was a mass shooter happened to be transgender. And now they have tried to tell everybody, as Tucker Carlson just did, that there's a part of the trans agenda to attack Christians. Let's back up a little bit. It's been white Christian nationalists that have said, trans people, we don't want you to exist in our society. So someone takes an act of violence, I assume, in response to rhetoric like that, and you're gonna say that this is a part of the trans agenda. The trans agenda in the United States is for people to have a full life expectancy. if they're transgender because of the stats that Adrienne just laid out there. So it's disgusting that they're willing to take these steps and spread this misinformation and turn people's fear into violence against a community that is already disproportionately victimized.
Absolutely. They are willing to rile up their base to attack trans individuals who, again, are such a small population and already face considerable amounts of violence. It's completely and totally unnecessary. And the thing is the Republicans are not going to do anything about it because, hey, why would they? They want to continue to fill their coffers from NRA money.